we're going to look in a little more detail at for loop basics. In this video, we'll see the concept of scope, how to determine repetitions at runtime, and the role of the loop control variable. I'm going to pick up with the same example, and there is one detail that we want to take care of soon. All right, we calculated sum, but nowhere did we show what the sum is when all is said. When we get to finish the repetition, just had a statement end of program. All right, well, obviously we want to go through all this trouble to calculate a sum. We obviously want to see what it is. So we're going to add a statement here following the loop. We're going to say system.out.println the sum is sum. And maybe then we'll skip a line before we say the end of program. Let's take a look at that. And let's say 5, 7, 4, 9 is our four numbers. The sum is 25. End of program. All right, so this time we actually had an output. But again, I want to point out that this output only happened once. This statement only happened once. The input and the addition happened 4 times. Just to review, let's trace what's going on here. All right, so I have a variable sum, n, and value. Right, let's track them out like this. N starts at 1. Sum starts at 0. And value at first is going to be 5, because value 1. When n is 1, my input for value was 5. So then we execute this. Sum plus value, well, that's 5. And it goes to sum. So the 0 gets erased, and 5 now is the value of sum. At the last statement in the body of the loop, control cycles back to the update. The update expression. Right. And that will cause n to go to 2. From the update, right, we go back to the condition. And we say, well, is n, we test this condition, is n less than or equal to 4? 2 is less than or equal to 4, so we do it all over again. We have a print statement, enter value, but now n is 2. So the print statement comes in, enter value 2. And I put a 7. So value, that goes to the variable value. That erases the old value. And same variable now as before is 7. Right? The next statement executes right to left. The right-hand side always executes first. 5 plus 7, right, is 12. All right, that 12 goes to sum. Right, so the 12 goes to sum, which is going to erase the 5. It's become 12. After the last statement, we go back to the update. N becomes 3. 3 is less than 4. Right, so we now print enter value n. Value of n now is different. We see 3. Enter value 3. Right, my input there was a 4. Right, my input here, that's coming from here. So 4 goes to value, erasing the old value. And now I have sum plus value. Well, 12 plus 4 is 16. The 16 goes to sum. Control goes back to the update. N goes to 4. 4 is less than or equal to 4. So we say enter value N. It gives us enter value 4. My input is a 9. Erasing the old value, and value becomes 9. And now sum plus value is 16 plus 9. That's 25. The 25 goes to sum, erasing previous value. Control goes back to the update. N goes to 5. 5 is not less than 4, not less than or equal to 4, so the condition is false. When the condition is false, the loop exits and it picks up with whatever follows the closing brace. All right, there's the braces around the body of the loop. So everything between here is the body of the loop. When the condition is false, it skips all of that to the closing brace and picks up here. And we're going to see, okay, the sum is. Okay, well, that's what we have now. This output, the sum is, and the current value of sum when we reached this output statement was in fact 25. We want to make 5 and 7 is 12. It's 4 and 9 is 13. Good practice to take the loop bound. 5. So that's what we should get. Make a variable for it. And then we see it makes the code a little bit easier to understand. So I'm going to make a new variable of how you're going to call it the int number of values equals 4. Now I'm going to replace the 4 in there. Number of values. Since we can give names to values, it's good to do so. Right? It makes the code a little easier to understand. And also makes it easier to modify. Right? We started this with 4 values. Right? What if I want to say some number of integers entered by the user? And it's just any number. Right? What if I only want to wear 3? Okay, I can then now I have to recompile because I made a change. But now I can do 3 numbers. Or if I want to do 5, I have to recompile. And add up 5 numbers. Well, this brings up an interesting possibility because now, rather than have to recompile the program just to change how many numbers I'm adding up, I can ask the user how many values to add up and let them tell me. So I can say system.out.print how many values are you adding? And now instead of putting a number here, I would just take this from the user. Say, well, just 2. 17, 23, sum is 40. Now, notice I'm going to execute the program again without recompiling. I can add 4 numbers. So we can determine if we can determine the condition at runtime, the number of repetitions does not have to be known in advance. So I want to wrap up this video with just some things to be careful of. Notice that it is necessary to declare the result variable outside of the loop, right, prior to the loop. Suppose I don't do that. I forget that and declare it, try and declare it inside the loop. This can't be found. Can't be found on line 19. Line 19 is after the loop and apparently after the declaration. This seems a little odd. But what's going on here is that anything that is declared within the loop, including the loop variable itself, right, is not visible outside of the loop. So for example, I can't even say see now it's complaining about that one too. I said on line 19, right now is the last value of n. I'm trying to print n. Can't find it. Well, you kind of look at it and say, well, dog, it's right there. Why can't you find it? Again, new variables that you declare in the loop are only visible in the loop. So if you want to use something outside of the loop, right, you've got to set it up outside of the loop. So that's why I need. So I need to set up a sum. Create a result variable before the loop. And these variables are right, still out of scope. Now, okay, so sum is going to be fine. But it's still, this line is still a problem. Right, line 20 is still a problem because the loop variable is not visible. It's said to be out of scope. You will often use, a little bit more about the loop variable, you will often use it in prompts and in calculations, we're going to see in a subsequent video. But you will not use the loop variable on the left-hand side. It's okay to use the loop variable n in this example in a print statement or in a right-hand expression, but you're not going to use n over here. So you're not going to have something like this. Let's say another sum, and we have two sums, and other sum is other sum plus n. All right, so we can use the loop variable in a calculation. All right, adding 3 and say it's 17, 11, and 9. So what we did there was we added up the n's. Other sum adds up the n's. That adds up 1, 2, and 3. So other sum is 6. 17, 11, and 9 is 37. So in the next video, we'll look at some variations on the for loop.